Have you ever wondered where the water you drink comes from, or where it goes after it evaporates? Today, we're exploring the fascinating journey of water via the hydrologic cycle, a continuous process that's crucial for life on our planet. The hydrologic cycle, also known as the water cycle, is an intricate process that involves three main stages: evaporation, condensation, and surface runoff. You can think of it as nature's water delivery and recycling system. We begin with evaporation. Picture this: the sun is shining brightly, its rays beating down on the Earth's surface. This solar radiation provides the energy needed for water to transform from a liquid to a gas. The water molecules break their bonds and take flight, rising into the atmosphere as water vapor. But here's a fun fact: about 90% of this evaporated water hails from the equator, where sunlight is most abundant. But what goes up must come down. This brings us to the second stage of the cycle: condensation. As the water vapor rises, it cools and begins to clump together around particles of dust or salt, forming tiny droplets. Over time, these droplets become too heavy to hover in the air, and they fall back to Earth as precipitation. This could be in the form of rain, snow, sleet, or hail. And here's another interesting tidbit: about 90% of this precipitation falls right back into the oceans. The final stage in this process is surface runoff. The water that falls on land doesn't just sit there. Some of it evaporates back into the atmosphere, while some seeps into the ground, replenishing groundwater supplies. A good amount of it, however, gathers in bodies of water like rivers and streams, eventually flowing back to the sea. This is the end point of the hydrologic cycle, but it's not the end of the journey. The cycle begins anew with evaporation, and the process continues, over and over again. In this continuous journey, water can be stored in various reservoirs, such as glaciers, lakes, oceans, streams, the atmosphere, the biosphere, and groundwater. You'd be surprised to know that a significant portion, about 2.15%, is stored in glaciers, mostly in Greenland and Antarctica. Also, let's not forget the role of plants in this cycle. Through a process called transpiration, plants absorb water from the ground, transport it to their leaves, and release it back into the atmosphere. In summary, the hydrologic cycle is a complex yet vital process that continuously moves water around the Earth. It starts with evaporation, where water turns into gas and rises into the atmosphere. It then condenses into droplets that fall as precipitation. Finally, the water flows over the surface or seeps into the ground, eventually returning to the sea, ready to start the cycle again. Understanding this process is not just a matter of scientific curiosity. It has implications for our daily lives, from the water we drink to the weather we experience. So next time you take a sip of water or watch the rainfall, remember, you're witnessing a small part of the grand hydrologic cycle.